This program and its contents are designed for information and educational purposes only. This program does not render medical advice or professional services and is not intended to be a substitute for professional care. The information provided here should not be used for the purposes of diagnosing or treating a medical or psychiatric condition. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, consult your healthcare provider.
Hi, welcome to Positive Momentum TV. I'm Diane Silva, and we're back with Chris Silva, and we're talking about anxiety.
If I'm in that moment, and I see you going through something, I want to be there to support you, to be able to carry you if you need being carried, or step back if you need space. So that's where the watching where you're at is very important in determining how I'm going to react. If while I'm in that supportive role, so to speak, the thing that I focus on, the things that help me is that it makes me feel good to help someone.
Okay.
So it provides me the strength to say, okay, I can handle this, and I want to help you. So there's times where I don't need support to be able to support you.
Okay.
Now, if there's other circumstances going on that, it's your anxiety along with something else that's going on with something at work, that's something, all these things added together. At those moments, I've learned for myself that, I am a proponent of a counselor, I see the benefit out there. And for me, a counselor provides the tools for me to help myself.
Right.
It's not them to do it for me. It's for them to help me learn the tools. And that's where it gives me the strength to be able to get through tough times. I also know that from my own experience, and this is mine alone, is that I know there's certain people that I trust, that I can talk to, that, if I need to just vent, I can vent to them, and it'll remain confidential, and they'll be just there to listen, A lot of times, you're that mean person to do that to. My sister is very supportive. So I do have the benefit of having people that are close to me, that care enough about me, that I am able to do this. So that's my support network for, in those situations. I also know that I know my limits. And I think that's where, just as much as, we talked about awareness for you and your anxiety, for me, I have to be aware of where I'm at and say, okay, am I becoming overwhelmed? If I am, what do I need to do? I can talk to a counselor, I can talk to, a friend, that type of thing. And that gets me through the moments. And then once the tough time is through, it goes back to where I can support you again.
Okay. One of the things I would like to do, if you don't mind, is turn this around just a little bit and flip roles here. Uh-oh. Now, you've had to deal with something, and I'm sorry, I'm going to put you in a hot seat for a few minutes. Not okay. Much of one, but still a hot seat. And we're going to talk just briefly about your anxiety. I know there's some situations going on. You'd mentioned yourself, if things at work aren't going well, if things at home aren't going well, if things at, and we may have to save this for the next segment but let's kind of touch on that just so that you know where I'm going, don't
yes,
you?
I do.
And we've had some people on talking about this situation. So when you are feeling, what do your symptoms of anxiety, if I were to look at you, and let's just stay there. If I were to look at you and say, okay, what's going on? Explain what you feel when you're anxious. Let's take that one, if you don't mind.
Well, there's, as you said, when you know and you recognize signs in me when you turn around and ask a question, what's going on?
Yeah.
So in the reverse, you know, that's what I do when I'm trying to support you. For me, as I've said before, is the fact that I internalize things. And if I get very quiet, if I may go from work and being, you know, having a tough day at work and other things are being added on and that kind of thing. For me, I will come home and I'll sit there and watch TV, or, you know, I will basically zone out, and I do not have the energy or the mental capacity to do much of anything. You know, it may be a very simple task to do, and it's like, can't do it. So.
Yeah, basically and I will say, basically you spend your energy at work, and then when you get home, you're spent. With that, we're going to save this conversation for the next segment, because we're going to turn this around and put Chris in the hot seat, not intentionally. So, but take a different look at anxiety.
That's right.
That's how we're going to look at this.